if I could magically solve one problem in finance and accounting, it would be figuring out how to generate dashboarding and metrics in an automated way. In my current company, for example, it takes a week to 2 weeks to dig out all the data, put it in a format that's digestible and usable by management. So if there's a way to get that so that it could be done automatically or at least more efficiently, that'd be terrific. Forecasting cash flow is actually particularly difficult. Again, I work for a small company. We're about 750 employees, $150 million in revenue per year. In order to get into cash flow forecasting, first of all, you have to know how to do it. Not everybody has a sense of what the components are. What you usually end up with is you either end up with an extremely high level guess at it, or you end up with something that's very mechanical, bottoms up, and highly variable. So coming up with a way to be able to do that algorithmically and add some intelligence to it would be a huge benefit to my function. So one of the things that does keep CFOs up at night, even in a smaller company where you're not necessarily reporting out to investors every 13 weeks and filing with the SEC, are the numbers right? I think that the big concern people have is there a material problem lurking out there? In my case, I think we've got very good controls at my company, but there's no question that there's a lot of variability down in the non-material items, which can add up to be something material. So I don't worry a lot about it because I think I have a really good finance function, but it's the first problem you got to fix when you take a new job. Some of the recent disruptive technologies that I've seen in accounting and finance are mostly plugins and other types of applications that you could put on top of traditional ERP systems. My exposure to traditional ERP systems is, they're data entry focused, they're very mechanical, they're just very much focused on getting accounting done. The new systems and applications you see that sit on top of that integrate with things like Salesforce, et cetera, give you an enormous amount of flexibility, the enormous amount of additional functionality. The challenge that you run into there, of course, is that you have to have people in finance who know how to use those and get the value out of them and make them work. So to me, the trend is an enormous amount of additional functionality available to you, and the challenge is being able to make appropriate use of it. So one of the things about finance and artificial intelligence, machine learning is certainly my experience. There's almost none of it in finance as we sit here today. Most things are, obviously there are traditional ERP systems out there. There are a lot of manual processes, and there's a lot of grinding that's necessary to get the work done. If you look at places where automation could be useful, it's very much in what we would call the back office. It's accounts payables, it's accounts receivables, it could be general ledger. There's a variety of data cleansing things that you can do. I know every company I've ever joined, data cleansing is absolutely necessary, one of the most painful things on the planet, and really hard to get done because it hardly ever rises to the top of the stack of things that need to happen. So I think that being able to bring automation to some of the back office functions, for starters, and obviously you can move forward to the front office at some point, but would be a real boon to the finance function. So I think AI technologies can affect data aggregation and cleansing in a lot of great ways. I mean, right now what happens is you either don't aggregate the data or you don't cleanse it, or you hire a bunch of people to go and grind through it. I've done everything from hiring interns to do it, and they work on it 8 hours a day for 4 months, and you finally get it done. I've had good people who have many better things to do than data cleansing get down and crank on the keyboard to make it happen. It's just incredibly important to make it happen because everything that you need to do after that depends on the quality of and veracity of your data. So anything that can automate that and get my people doing something besides that, or having me not hire additional people to do it, would be great. So I think a wide range of companies can benefit from auditorial solutions. As I mentioned, I'm the CFO of ChargePoint. We're only a 750 person company, private, 150 million in revenue, but there's no question in my mind that we can benefit from it greatly. But if you extrapolate to as big a company as you want to go to, the problems don't get smaller, they just get bigger and more expensive. So I actually don't see it's not a small business thing, it's not a medium-sized business thing or a large business thing. It's anybody that has a finance organization, also known as all of them, could definitely use the auditorial solutions.